Bronco fans and football fans everywhere. Welcome to Elevation Orange. This is a show that is a recap, review, comments, as well as the comments from the chat about the last Broncos game, which was yesterday at SoFi Stadium against the LA Chargers. I am your host, Bronco Bill. All right, guys, let's get right into this. Before we do, let's always hit the chat like we do. Big E comes in and says, I know I'm early, but I want to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs meltdown. All right, hang on to that. I'm gonna thumbnail that. Hang on to that, Big E. I will definitely get back to that. I want to get to some other comments in the chat before we get into that. That's a really that was bad. That was bad. We'll get into that. I want to say a big shout out to Just Keep Punching. Just Keep Punching. Hey, thanks so much for being in the chat. Glad to have you here. He said, "What's up, everybody?" I say, hey, just living the dream of the Broncos looking like they're on the verge of making the playoffs. I know we need a lot of stuff. We'll talk about that tonight, guys. We'll talk about that. All right. Okay, Avatar is in the house. Avatar, haven't seen you in a while, my friend. Said, what's up, Broncos country, 2023 NBA champs, Nuggets Nation? Absolutely. And hopefully the Avalanche get a win tonight. I know you didn't mention the Avalanche, but I'm hoping they get a win tonight. They play the Calgary Flames 6:30 Pacific time tonight. All right, so let's go back to what Big E said. Let's start out with this before we get into the Broncos recap. Big E Bronco says, I know I'm early, but I want to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs meltdown. All right, let's talk about that. Here's the problem that I have with that particular meltdown, okay? If it had gone in the opposite direction, let's say it was a defensive player that was slightly across the line. Here's the line, okay? Here's the line. And Tony, that's his last name, Tony's feet were probably that far over. If you look at the replay, it looks like about half of his foot or a third of his foot was over the line. What are the referees supposed to do? Are they supposed to turn a blind eye? Well, we didn't see that. You know, that's Kansas City Chiefs. You know, that's the Cinderella, the team that the NFL loves. So if the NFL loves them, why didn't they turn a blind eye? Because if it's a penalty, it's a penalty. Doesn't matter whether or not Patrick Mahomes likes it or Travis Kelce likes it or Tony likes it or anybody else likes it. Doesn't matter. If you make a mistake, it's a mistake. I mean, seriously, are they supposed to look the other way? Doesn't make sense. And going to the meltdown, and guys in the chat, go ahead and chime in. I will definitely get to your comments, absolutely, in regards to this. But I look at it this way, okay? The Denver Broncos have had some bad plays called or bad penalties called against them this season. You don't sit there and cry about what the referees do. And here's the problem. Here's a problem Mahomes didn't realize. Yeah, he may be the Cinderella story. He may be the NFL's favorite guy right now. Doesn't matter. You don't sit there and lambaste the referees. And I heard today that Roger Goodell and the NFL executives, whoever they be, are going to look at the situation between Patrick Mahomes and the referees and his comments, because they are instructed not to say anything negative or harsh or judgmental against the referees. And I know that the NFL is protecting the referees, and to a certain degree they have to. But these guys know this. And if Patrick Mahomes is going to want to be the poster child for the NFL like Tom Brady was for all of those years, then he needs to learn to be an ambassador for the league and not a hindrance. And that's another reason why I can't stand the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes and that entire team are a bunch of crybabies. A bunch of crybabies. They didn't get the win. It was a fantastic play. It was improv. Who gives a frosty? If you're wrong, you're wrong. I mean, there's been ticky-tack plays for holding penalties, for pass interference penalties, and you don't cry about it. You don't. You just accept the fact. I mean, if here's the line, and Tony's foot was, okay, let me get this straight. And Tony's foot was here, and they called it offsides. Okay, I can understand the gripe. When you're this far over, how is that on the officials? How is it on the officials? It's not. It's not. And did I want the Kansas City Chiefs to win that game? I had mixed emotions because I really don't think we're going to win the division. And I think it's better for the Broncos to get the wild card because there's 3 wild card spots, 1 division title. It's easier to make the wild card than it is to win the division when you have to climb over, games that are not in your favor. Kansas City has an easy baby schedule going down the road. And for them to cry about this, and it's their own fault, their own players' fault, and they're going to hold the referees accountable in their eyes for calling it offsides when it clearly was. Patrick, grow up. Grow freaking up. All right? You're not above, and neither is your team above the NFL rules, period. And I can make comments and stuff about the Denver Broncos and everything that happened to them in the past 14 games that's gone against them. But you don't see me crying about it. You don't see the Bronco players crying about it. Yeah, they may say, well, dang, that kind of went against us. That was unfortunate. But they don't sit there and call the referees out. Why? If you're making the mistake, how can you call the person that caused the mistake out? How do you call them out? I don't get it. All right, let me get to some of your comments in the chat about this. Let's see. Okay, Avatar chimes in and says the refs have been calling that penalty more this season than they ever had in the past. Okay, that's fine. But what, Avatar? If the player's across the line and he's standing in the neutral zone, so to speak, with his foot or his elbow or his head or his arm or whatever that is across, if the rule states you cannot cross that line any way, shape, or form, and you do, what are the referees supposed to do? They're supposed to call it. And I have no problem with that. It's called looking down the line and seeing where the line is, going, oh, shoot, there's a football. I better back up. No, he didn't do that. Tony didn't do that. He did not make a move to back up whatsoever. That's on him. It's not on the referees. And sure, they may be calling it more and more this year, but that's okay because the player's got to be accountable for himself. The player absolutely has to be accountable for himself. All the referees are doing is pointing out what the players are doing or did. That's the referee's job. That's the referee's job, is to point out, when it comes to a penalty, point out what was done and by whom. That's their job. That's their job when it comes to calling penalties. And Tony's foot was across the line. I don't have a problem with that one bit whatsoever. All right. Let me go to just keep punching. I've seen that compared to, say, you're in a 45 and you're doing 55. What do to happen when a police officer pulls you over? What do you do when a police officer pulls you over? You're compared. Okay, you're in a 45. You're doing 55. Well, if the cop pulls you over, if you're breaking the law, you're breaking the law. And in this game, if you're breaking the rules, you're breaking the rules. I mean, if the referees let that go, let's just say the referees let that go, then what? Then the next time that happens to somebody else and they call it, what are they going? Well, you didn't call it on these guys. Why are you calling it on us? They've got to be consistent. And I know that they haven't been relatively consistent all year. But there needs to be a time where they have to. There needs to be a time where they start to. And because Kansas City lost the game, that's why they're crying. If they were winning the game, it wouldn't have mattered to them. They would have said, okay, cool, no big deal. It's because they were losing. They're poor sports. They're sorry losers. They're crybabies. They're everything, all the above. It's Another reason why I can't stand Kansas City. Can't stand him with a passion. Patrick Mahomes is a freaking, he's a wuss in my opinion. All right. Avatar says, it is a receiver's responsibility to ask the ref if he is good or not. Tony never checked. You're absolutely right, Avatar. Absolutely right. And I heard that today as well. He never checked. So it's on him. Like I mentioned before, it's on him. So if it's on him to check and ask the referee, hey, am I across? Or the referee's like, back up, whatever their signals are or whatever, then yes, that was on Tony. He never checked. So why is Patrick Mahomes getting upset because it was called? He should be yelling at his own player for not asking the referee where he should line up or if he's across the line or whatever the communication is. That's not on the referee's shoulders. That's not on his back. That's on Patrick Mahomes, wide receiver Tony. That's on him. And because he didn't check, he didn't make aware, and make eye contact or whatever with the referee to find out where he's supposed to line up or where he was. Don't be yelling at the referees, Patrick. Don't be yelling at the referees. Oh, and by the way, after the game, he walks over to Josh Allen, and normally, quarterbacks say, "Hey, great game," or "Hey, man, that was a hard-fought game. Good luck down the stretch." Blah blah blah. No, that's not what Patrick Mahomes said. I heard it today. What he said was this: the referees are effing blank. Referees are effing blank. That was an effing blank call. Really? You're going to tell the opposing quarterback who fought just as hard as you did, instead of congratulating or whatever you say, you had to go down that ugly road, Patrick. You really had to go down that road. Guess what, guy? I have no respect for you. Absolutely none. I hope and wish with everything I have that you never win another Super Bowl. Absolutely not. You don't deserve it. You're a crybaby. You're a whiner. Plain and simple. It's not the referee's fault. They're doing their job. Your buddy, your wide receiver, didn't do his. That's it. Plain and simple. All right. Let's see. Biggie says, Bill, what happened to Minnesota fan that kept coming in here saying they were going to beat the Broncos? Minnesota fan. Oh, Mike, are you talking about my nephew? My nephew Robert? Minnesota. No, wait a minute. Minnesota fan that kept coming in here saying they were going to beat the. Who's they? You talking about the Chargers? That the Chargers were going to beat the Broncos? I don't think that was a Minnesota fan. Because my nephew Bobby, he's got the Broncos. He's got Broncos back just like I do. I mean, that's his favorite AFC team, just like the Vikings are my favorite NFC team. So I don't think that would have been him. I'm not quite sure who you're referring to, but I'll try and rack my brain to figure it out. Hey, Jack Kenna, nice to have you in the house. Nice to have you in chat. Thanks so much for chiming in. Every single one of you guys, please hit the like button, thumbs up button. It really helps out the show. If you haven't subscribed at all, please do subscribe. Both of them cost nothing, but helps out the show a lot. Jack says, congratulations to the Broncos run. KC Queefs crying. Yeah, oh, yeah, they are. Oh, sure they are. And you know why? Another reason why they're crying? Look at the standings. Denver is one game behind the Chiefs. Sure, they have to lose 2 out of their next 4, and Denver has to run the table. But the reason why they have to win 2 is because we don't own the tiebreaker if we're tied. So they have to lose 2. We have to win at all 4 to guarantee at least 11-win season. How remarkable would that be? 11-6 after going 1-5. That would absolutely be incredible. Absolutely incredible. In fact, I know that I have never seen and been a part of the Broncos, and I mean being part of, meaning, that's my favorite team since 1976, that the Broncos have ever had a run like they're on right now. I don't ever remember that. I remember coming out of the gate and going like 7-0 or 8-0 or 14-0, 13. Oh, I remember those days, but not where you start out 1-5 and then you run off 5 straight wins. Then you have a setback, which I'll talk about in a minute because I want to recap last week because I wasn't here. And then just take it to the Chargers in LA. And now they're 7-6. That's just incredible. Okay, so here we go. Jack Kenneth says, can't wait to see if Denver can beat the losing streak versus the Raiders. I think we can. Jack, I really do. Come on. Let's go back. I know this is a recap of yesterday's game, guys, but I'm having too much fun. You guys are being way, way too engaging to not want to do this. This is fun. This is great. Let me take you back, Jack, a moment, okay? The Broncos started their 5-game winning streak against the Green Bay Packers, okay? We were 1-5 at the time. We beat the Green Bay Packers. Then we played the Kansas City Chiefs. Nobody expected us to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Nobody. But we did. And then we had a bye, and then we played the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. Hang on. Kansas City Chiefs games, we hadn't beaten them in 16 games, and we beat them. That's the swinging point right there. Then we had a bye, and then we went to Orchard Park, New York, Buffalo, in the cold, across the country, so to speak. I mean, not exactly from the West Coast, but close enough. Across the country, played the Buffalo Bills, and beat them when we hadn't beaten them in however long in Orchard Park, New York, and on Monday Night Football. And then we came home and played the Minnesota Vikings with a very, very tough defense, and we beat them. Now we're on a 5-game win streak. 5-game win streak. And then we go to Houston. And I don't know what happened when we went to Houston. I really don't. I mean, compared to yesterday's game and the game against the Minnesota Vikings, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. There were turnovers, there were penalties, costly penalty by Singleton, and I know a lot of people wanted Singleton gone and dismissed and traded or whatever. After that, no, you don't get rid of a guy or bench him or anything for a play like that. It was emotional. It was a very emotional game, and the Broncos, even though they had 3 turnovers and mega penalties and all that, they still had a chance to win the game in the last 20 seconds before Russell Wilson threw an interception in the end zone, double coverage to Kroll. Okay? All right. That's over and done with. Denver comes back yesterday and beat the LA Chargers, who they have not beaten in LA in 4 games. They played the Chargers there 3 times. They played the Rams there last year. They've lost all 4. They snapped that as well. So going back to what Jack asked, says, see if Denver can beat the losing streak versus the Raiders. Absolutely, I think we can. I just stated the reasons why. Because we snapped the streak against the Chiefs. We snapped the streak against the Buffalo Bills. And we snapped the streak against the LA Chargers by not beating them in LA. Also, that was the first Broncos divisional win on the road since 2019. Can you believe that? Since 2019, the first Broncos road win came yesterday, this past Sunday. All right, guys, a couple more comments, and I'm going to get into a recap, and then we can go back down all these other questions and comments. Okay, so let's see. Avatar says, I love how Andy Reid said that the refs didn't give them a warning. Give them a warning of how, Andy? How do you want them to give a warning? Oh, excuse me, timeout. Can you back up a little bit because your foot's over the line, and I don't want you to get penalized. Okay, I'm just giving you a heads up. I'm giving you a warning. Okay, no, they're not going to do that. Shut up, Andy. Really? I mean, these guys are absolutely pathetic. They're a laughing stock. They're embarrassing themselves. They really are embarrassing themselves. And it couldn't happen, in my opinion, to a more team that I can't stand. Well, I can't stand the Chargers more, but they're right next to them because they're crybabies. You know, they showed Philip Rivers on the sideline yesterday, and I'm thinking, I don't want to see this guy. He was a crybaby in the NFL. Well, Patrick Mahomes is the same way. And now Andy Reid's doing the same way. Why? Because they didn't get their way. They're going to cry and take their football and go home. Really? Come on. Grow up, guys. You're getting millions and millions of dollars, okay? And he was not correct. He was not correct. He was on the line, across the line. And for Andy Reid to sit there and say, well, the referees didn't give us a warning. That's not their job. Tony should have looked over and said, hey, am I okay? Do I back him? And the referee would have done whatever the referee does. Nope. Oh, but Andy Reid says the referee's fault. Oh, yeah. It's always somebody else's fault. Never your own. You never own up to your own mistakes, huh? It's always somebody else's fault. Oh, God. All right. Big E says the Chiefs get more calls in their favor to win games than any team I've ever seen in my life. You are absolutely 100% correct. 100% correct, Big E. And for them, maybe that's why they're crying. They're like, oh, well, we always get calls. We don't get calls against us. Come on, we're the Kansas City Chiefs. The NFL loves us because of Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and that stupid singer, what's her face? Taylor Swift. I mean, who cares? Who cares? But the NFL's making bank, and that's why they love the Chiefs. It's exactly why they love the Chiefs, because Patrick Mahomes is their poster child. They love the guy, and yes, the Chiefs do make the NFL money. I get it. But that doesn't mean that they should be getting away with things that are not right. If it's a penalty, it's a penalty. If you're offside, you're offside. If you're holding, you're holding. If it's, face mask, it's face mask. Horse car, we could go on and on. If it happens, you have to own up to it. Don't cry about it because it makes you look horrible than you are. Well, actually, the Chiefs look horrible anytime, so it doesn't matter. Let's see. Let's see. Oh yeah, Biggie says it was my nephew, a Viking fan. I don't think he said that we would lose to the Chargers. I don't think he would have said that. Might have been the Viking game. In fact, that's probably what you're talking about. When we played the Vikings, he did say that the Vikings were going to beat the Broncos. And no, I didn't agree with it, and neither did the outcome. So we won. Let's see. So, all right. Just keep punching. Says, tell me that Kansas City gets away with a lot of the referees. If the referees are warnings, do they get away with a lot? I think the Kansas City Chiefs get away with a lot of things because, like I said earlier, the NFL loves them. NFL absolutely loves the Kansas City Chiefs because of Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and the whole, fling with Taylor Swift and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know for a fact, but I mean, it sure seems like it. I mean, when Tom Brady was on the Patriots, the Patriots got away with everything. You couldn't breathe on Tom Brady, otherwise it'd be a flag. So I'm just saying it, now that Brady's retired and he's out of the NFL and whatnot, you got Patrick Mahomes, taking over the reins, so to speak. And I got a feeling that the referees are, basically calling a blind eye. But when it's obvious right in front of you, I mean, and the cameras are shooting right down that line. I mean, you can see it. It's obvious. It's obvious. So it's just, I just can't stand the Chiefs. I really can't. And now I can't even stand Patrick Mahomes all that more because he's just a crybaby. And he reminds me a whole lot of Philip Rivers, and everybody knows how much I can't stand that guy. All right. Kamani is in the house, my brother. I know, should I play that clip or something? But, that's on a whole different platform, not platform, but a whole different setup. I could probably play it for you if you want, Kamani. You know what? I could do that. but at the same time, I might end up just kicking myself off the show. So I'll probably refrain from doing that because I don't want to mess this up. Glenn Hauser is in the house. Glenn says, I refuse to hear any Taylor slander here. Okay, we cannot slander Taylor Swift. Okay, I apologize. I'm sorry. Anyways, okay, so moving on. Yeah, Kamani, you're right. Let Mike do it because that whole thing, those whole little clips and stuff, that's all Mike stuff. He enjoys doing it, and I like it when he does. He's got really good timing and stuff like that. So, like I said, if I switch over and try and do it, I'll probably screw it up. So I don't think that's a good idea. So I just refrain from doing that. Jack Kenna has a question. Boy, I haven't even gotten into the recap of yesterday's game, but we will get there, I promise. All right. Jack Kenna says, what do you want Denver to do with their first round pick? At first I thought maybe, I wanted them to take a quarterback, maybe second, third round, something like that. At this point in time with Russell Wilson, I'm not too sure. I mean, he's doing great under Sean Payton. So, I'd like to wait maybe till next year unless something falls in their lap. But we do need offensive help. We do need defensive line help, middle linebacker. I don't know what's going to happen with Tim Patrick. I don't know if we're going to keep Jerry Jeudy. There's a lot of ifs. But I really don't know at this time. I just have to wait as we get closer and closer to the offseason, see where the Broncos line up on their draft and what players are available out there that might be instrumental right away. That's pretty much what I'm looking forward to right now. But I'd sure like the season to continue deep into 2024. That's for sure. Well, I mean, deep as far as football goes. Really like to see the Broncos make the playoffs and move on from there. Kamani, you are continuing from yesterday, my friend. You're continuing from yesterday. So on that note, I will say this. Kamani says, Bill, our Broncos beat your Chargers. First off, let me rephrase that. I think you misspelled your. I think it should say, Bill, our Broncos beat your sister's Chargers. I think that's a little bit better. I think you left out the word sisters. It's okay, Kamani. It's all good, man. It's all good. Always. Glenn Hauser's going back to the comment about the draft. Glenn Hauser says we need tight end desperately. I agree, but we don't know if we're going to, what Dulcich is going to, coming back, from his injury. Troutman's looking good. I mean, sure, he's wide open in the end zone. Nobody within 10 yards of him yesterday. So that was easy. But Troutman's good. I like Troutman and, Dulcich. But, yeah, I mean, you're right. We probably need a sure hands, big body guy like maybe a sure hands like Rod Smith, a big guy, like maybe what's the guy on San Francisco? The guy on San Francisco, big guy on San Francisco tight end. Anyways, we need somebody like that. I agree. That has hands that can block, that has, girth, so to speak, and can push his weight around, that kind of thing. Yeah, we need players like Kittle. There you go. Thanks, Glenn. Glenn said George Kittle. Yeah, we need somebody big like that. We need somebody that's got good hands. I think of a Shannon Sharp type of guy who can run a route. Yeah, I agree. Are we going to find him that falls to us at any point in time, whether it becomes the second, third round, whatever? First round? I don't know. Do you go for a tight end on the first round? I'm not sure. I guess, the old saying is, best player available. Well, that's all well and good, but if he doesn't fit into your system or isn't what you really need, do you really go after the, quote, best player available? I don't know. That's up for debate. Oh, I like this. Just keep punching. I like this. Every time you say Patrick Mahomes, you should push a button with a baby in the background crying. I love it. You know what? I'm going to bring that up to Madungus Creevy, and we're going to have that. We're going to have that on our, hopefully we're going to have that as a little clip so that when somebody gets up and they start crying and they hold their hat like this and they go, no way, they should. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Well, hey, if it's Madungus Creevy, maybe he can just get his own child. Who knows? Maybe that'll work. Good idea. I like that. I like that. Thank you so much. Uh-oh, my mouse ain't working. All right. Okay. Yes, Kamani, I was 1-1 yesterday. No, what do you mean I was 1-1? Hang on a second. I was 2-0. Oh, you almost baited me into that. No. I was 2-0. I was 2-0, my friend. Kamani, he said that I was 1-1 because the Vikings won yesterday. No, I was 2-0. I was 2-0. Let's see. Glenn says, I didn't have Bill talking about girth on my bingo card tonight. Sorry you lost, Glenn. My fault. That was one of those wild card things I guess I threw out. I don't think I've ever used that word before in my life. Girth? Usually I say height or width or weight. Girth? Whatever. Oh, shoot. Jack says, is Russell Wilson the answer? Russell Wilson, in my opinion, is the answer for the rest of this year and all of next year. And the reason why I say that is because we have him for another 4 years. And we've got to be able to utilize him for the majority of that time because of all the money we gave him. Okay. But if we bring in, let's say we don't draft a quarterback this year, but we draft a quarterback at 25. Okay. We draft a quarterback at 25. Now Russell Wilson's going to be entering his 4th year, and he's going to have 2 years with this kid or a year with this kid or whatever. Okay. You've got to allow a guy coming in from college to learn under a veteran. And a lot of people say, yeah, but Russell Wilson's going to be watched. We don't know that. Not under Sean Payton. You guys are forgetting. Sean Payton has a 5-year contract with the Broncos, and Russell Wilson also has a 5-year contract. Now, I think Sean Payton's obviously will go a year longer because he came in after Hackett. Oh, that guy. Anyways, so yes, you got to have the consistency, the chemistry, and all that. And under Sean Payton, we could have a drafted quarterback in 2025 and learn under Russell Wilson for a year and be successful. Sure, it's going to be a process of learning in the NFL for this rookie, whoever that rookie is. But I don't say we need to take him this year unless it falls in our lap, which I highly doubt. But if it falls in our lap at whatever draft round it is, it could be beneficial. I'm not saying that we need to go out there and get one in the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd round, because that's stupid. That's stupid. In fact, I don't even know if we got a 1st or 2nd round now that I think about it. So it doesn't make any sense to go after somebody now. It makes more sense to go after somebody in 2025. Russell Wilson is improving under Sean Payton, a real head coach. That's what happens when you have a real head coach. He can take a quarterback, a seasoned quarterback, and make him even better than what he was. And that's what Sean Payton is doing. Absolutely what he's doing. So, I don't know. Like I said, I think that we hang on to Russell Wilson as long as we can, even up to his 5th year, and let a younger quarterback, a drafted quarterback, whatever, learn under Russell Wilson's toolship and his experience, as well as Sean Payton and what Sean Payton knows and what Sean Payton wants in a type of quarterback. That's what I think is going to happen. That's what I think is best for the Broncos. Okay. Okay, I want to get into this last comment before I get into the recap. I got some stats and stuff that are really impressive. So before I do that, Kamani says, I think we're going to run the table, but I feel like the Patriots game is our trap game. What do I think, Bill? Or what do you think, Bill? I've said that all along. I've said that all along, that the Patriots game is going to be our nemesis. It's going to be our kryptonite. It's going to be our Achilles heel, Achilles tendon, so to speak. It's a trap game. It's a trap game. Looking at it from now, it's an absolute trap game. And the reason why I say that, and I think you're going to agree, Kamani, is this: because the Broncos, after the Patriots game. Okay, first off, we played Detroit this coming Saturday. Okay, we play Detroit Saturday, prime time, Saturday night in Detroit. Broncos are going to be so amped up for that game to win this game, keep the momentum going. Then we face New England at home. Okay? That's a trap game. And the reason why is you're coming off of a Detroit game, which is going to be very emotional. The Broncos had a very emotional game yesterday, a very dominant game yesterday, and beating the Chargers. 24-7. They've won 5 out of their last 6 games. They're on the roll and the move to make the playoffs. When they come home and play the Patriots are going nowhere. They have nothing to lose. Denver has everything to lose and everything to win, but everything to lose. You think Bill Belichick and the Patriots aren't going to come out there and try and give the Broncos everything they have? Of course they are. And that's a trap game because the Broncos fell into that same type of trap game earlier in the season when they played the Commanders and lost after we had that huge lead. That was a trap game. You know, I mean, we lost to the Raiders to open the season by 1 point, but we had the Redskins, Commanders game, and we blew it. This is an absolute in-your-face mirror trap game. They cannot allow the Patriots to steal this game because after the Patriots, the Broncos play the Chargers at home, who they just beat yesterday, and then they play the Raiders to end the season. The Broncos have to win out to assure themselves of 11 wins and a virtual lock, not a guaranteed lock, but a virtual lock on a playoff game. If they lose to the Patriots and beat the Lions this coming Saturday, and then beat the Chargers and beat the Raiders, they'll be 10-7, and there's no guarantee whatsoever that they're going to make the playoffs. So yes, to answer your question, Kamani, yes, I firmly 100% that the Patriots game is a trap game. What I don't believe is that Sean Payton is going to allow that to be in the minds of the Broncos players. I don't believe for one moment that Sean Payton is looking at as anything else than don't let your guard down. He said that all along. Don't let your guard down. Don't let your game down. Every week we have to play our best. Don't let anything stand in the way. We've got to do our game plan. We've got to do we got to win the games, period. And that's exactly what I think his mindset's going to be. He's not going to allow the Bronco players to get caught up in that so-called trap game. I don't believe it for one moment. Sean Payton is much, much better at motivating and getting his players ready for the games than anybody else other than, Kubiak was the same way, and so is Mike Shanahan. So Sean Payton is in that same mold. All right. Okay, I said I have one last. Kamani said, so in other words, we're going to take them light. We're not going to take them lightly. That's the thing. We're not going to take them lightly, Kamani. We can't. We cannot take them lightly because if we do, then we're going to lose, and we can't do that. Can't do that. Okay, let me get into some of the stats from yesterday, and then I'll get right back to your comments. This is a great show. You guys are very, very engaging. It's so much fun to do a show like this when you guys are all engaging in the different comments. It doesn't have to be about the recap. I mean, this show is open to the chat. It's open to just going different directions. That's what I love about doing the show live and having you guys in the chat. It makes it so much fun because it's like I'm just sitting there talking to you guys and just having a good old conversation. And we get around the topic. If not, well, then we don't. But okay, speaking of topic, let's get into it. All right. Yesterday, the Denver Broncos played at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, well, Inglewood, actually, and suburb of LA. And the Denver Broncos had not beaten the Chargers/Rams in SoFi Stadium since it opened, and they played 4 games there. Yesterday was different. They lost to prior to the Broncos lost to the Chargers 3 times. They lost to the Rams last year, embarrassingly on Christmas Day. But yesterday they got somewhat of a revenge. The Denver Broncos went into SoFi Stadium with a record of 6-6. The Chargers were at 5-7, right on the heels Denver never looked back. Never looked back after scoring the first touchdown by Javonte Williams. They never looked back. The Broncos steamrolled to a victory to go 7-6, dropping in the Chargers to 5-8 with a 24-7 in your face beatdown. Not only that, listen to this. Okay, on the Broncos side, Russell Wilson was 21-33, 224 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Okay, the interception was freaky. It was the first play of the game. Throws the ball, or first play of the game for the Broncos after a punt. Throws the ball to Mims. Mims catches about the 13-yard line, and but the ball was taken away by Davis, and then deemed down by contact. The Broncos held. The Chargers went for it on 4th and goal. It was incomplete in the end zone, and the rest is history. Denver moves all the way down, gets a touchdown, and never looked back. So that was the only interception by Russell Wilson. Javonte Williams carried the ball 17 times, 66 yards, and a touchdown. Jaleel McLaughlin was 5 for 25. And Russell Wilson actually ran it 6 times for 5 yards. It's not good anyways. Receiving, Cortland Sutton. I'll get to that in a little bit. Cortland Sutton, 3 receptions, 62 yards, and a touchdown. Incredible touchdown. He was targeted 4 times. Samaje Perine targeted 5 times, received 5 times, 36 yards. Lucas Kroll, reception, 35 yards. Adam Thielen, 2 receptions, 19 yards, and a touchdown. Nobody inside on that one. All right, let's go down the line. This is impressive. This is impressive. Here we go. Alex Singleton, Jaquan McMillan, Josie Jewell, Justin Simmons, PJ Locke, and Zach Allen all had sacks. That's 6 sacks by 6 different Broncos players. You talk about a team effort. And yesterday during the Broncos neighborhood, somebody asked me in there who I thought the MVP of the game would be. And the question was asked like in the first quarter. And I said, based on what's going on right now, I'm not going to say the defense is going to be the MVP. I didn't want to just specify, one person, because it wasn't just one person. And I just showed you 6 different people with 6 different sacks on not just Herbert, but not just Herbert, but on Easton Stick. And the reason why Easton Stick was in there was because Justin Herbert broke or dislocated his index finger, which is the finger that is at the point of the ball when they're holding the ball, quarterback's holding the ball. He got his index finger on the top of the ball like this, so that when he throws it, it spirals off, and that finger's the last one that spins the ball. And the Broncos knocked him out of the game, showed him on the sideline with his hand in his pocket. He wouldn't reveal what it looked like, and to the world and the NFL world or whatever. And the Broncos sacked Easton Stick twice or 3 times. So it was 3 sacks on Herbert and 3 sacks on Stick. And the Broncos defense, in my opinion, was the MVP of the game. Russell Wilson, absolutely great performance. Cortland Sutton, a great, amazing one-handed catch on a 46-yard pass that the offensive line just totally gave Russell Wilson all the time in the world he needed. Cortland Sutton was held. His left arm was held on that play by the defender. His right arm came up like this, back here, caught the ball like this, brought it into his shoulders, touchdown. Amazing catch. Cortland Sutton is an absolute beast receiver for this Denver Broncos team. Absolutely great. There was talk about trading him and Jerry Jeudy in the offseason. And I'm like, you guys got to be idiots. You got to be idiots to get rid of Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton, especially Cortland Sutton. Love that kid ever since he came on to the Broncos. I saw him when I was at the Bronco Charger game at Carson before they went to SoFi, and Cortland Sutton on their first drive in that game caught a pass down the sideline, just raced it in the end zone. It was so much fun to see him in person like that, do that. Just amazing speed. The guy is a baller. He's a winner. Oh, by the way, a footnote. The Broncos won that game 24-7. It was on the anniversary, sadly, guys, the anniversary of the passing of Demaryius Thomas. And the reason why I point that out is because when Courtland Sutton made that touchdown reception, that gave him 10 touchdowns on the season. That's the first Broncos receiver since 2015, Julius Thomas and the late Demaryius Thomas, to have double-digit receiving touchdowns in a season. Congratulations to Courtland Sutton for being in that elite company of the Denver Broncos, matching the late Demaryius Thomas and Julius Thomas from 2015. That on the anniversary, unfortunately, of the passing of Demaryius Thomas. Never, ever, ever forget number 88. Can never, ever forget number 88. Okay, what did I do? Just, I think I just messed this up. All right, I just want to key in on one more. Let's see, is there one more stat I want to key on real quick? Oh, yeah, there is one. Let's see. Hang on a second, guys. I'm sorry about this. Okay, here it is. Okay. Russell Wilson in the second half versus the Chargers. This is the last stat on yesterday. Second half versus the Chargers. Russell Wilson was 10 of 13 for 112 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a passer rating of 141.7. Wow. And everybody across the league, when the Broncos were 1-5, everybody across the league was saying that Russell Wilson was washed up. He's not washed up. He looked washed up under Hackett because Hackett's washed up and doesn't have a clue. Under Sean Payton, somebody who knows what he's doing, somebody who knows how to get the best out of his players, Russell Wilson is better than he's been in a very, very long time. Very long time. He's looking like the Russell Wilson of old. He's getting out of the pocket. He's moving his legs. He's doing what he has to do to, win games. Plain and simple. Doing what he has to do to win games. And that bomb of 46 yards to Courtland Sutton. If you guys hadn't seen, you got to go on YouTube and type in Broncos highlights from yesterday's game, or however you go about finding your videos. Go in there and find that video of Russell Wilson and that touchdown pass to Courtland Sutton. One-handed, guys. His arm is being held back by the defender, and he still has a presence of mind to reach out and grab that ball one-handed. And, oh, by the way, as an encore, there was a pass that was thrown and that went on the sidelines. I don't know if it was a Bronco player or Charger player. I don't know. But the ball was thrown on the sidelines. Courtland Sutton just standing there on the sideline, just goes, like nobody's business, and caught it on the point of the ball like this. Guy's amazing. He's amazing. It doesn't matter if he's trying to catch plays in the end zone or standing on the sideline. The guy's just absolutely amazing. Amazing. All right, guys, back to the chat. See what you guys have to say. Hold on a second. I'm looking through all these. Kamani says that was himself that asked that question. That question about. Let me go back to the question then. Okay, I got it. Yeah, okay, Kamani, you're right. I'll give you credit on that. Hey, Willie's in the house. Willie Snyder says plus that was a division road game. Absolutely a division road game. 100%. Willie, glad to have you in the chat. Thanks for showing up. I really appreciate it. Let's see. Jack Kenneth says he's disappointed in the AFC West play. Our division is better than the record shows. All right, let me ask you something, Jack. Let me ask you something, okay? The Broncos are 7-6. Do you want the Chiefs to be better? Do you want the Chargers and the Raiders to be better? Do you want to be a slugfest all the way down to the last game of the season? I don't. I know the AFC West has always been looked at as the best division in the league. But at times, I'd rather have them not do so well so that the Broncos can do better. Does that make any sense? I mean, to me, it does. I mean, the Chiefs have won the division, I don't know how many times, 8, 10 times. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I'm about ready to see the Chiefs, hit the skids and fall flat on their face. That's what I want to see. I want to see the Broncos back on top like we were when we had Peyton Manning, like we were when we had John Elway. That's what I want to see. I want to see the Broncos back on top. I don't necessarily want to see the AFC West being a very strong division. I really don't. The only team I want to see strong in the AFC West is the Denver Broncos. That's the only team I want to see strong. I could care less about the other teams. Not at all do I want to see this division tight. That scares the daylights out of me. It means every single week it's a 2-game swing. I don't want. No. Nope. Sorry, don't want to see it. Jack Kenneth said he worked with Demaryius Thomas's sister at USAA. Wow, Jack, that is awesome, man. I'd like to hear your story sometime. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Sad for her though. I'm just wondering, Jack, do you are you in contact with her at all, or was that just the fact that you worked with her and there's no really any contact beyond that? Just wondering how she's doing, and how everybody else is doing in regards to his family and all of that. So wow, Colorado Springs, wow, awesome. Okay, Kamani Dixon says Russell Wilson tied Peyton Manning for throwing 13 TDs in the first 13 games of the season. Yes, I did see that. I did say that. That's amazing. That's an amazing feat. And I go back to the fact that people say, well, Russell Wilson washed up. He doesn't throw the deep ball, and he just holds the ball too long and he can't see over the line and blah 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 whatever. Okay, hey, 13 touchdowns in the first 13 games. That means something. I know the Broncos are 7-6. I get it. It's not all on Russell Wilson. It's on the defense. It's on the play call. The first 6 games of the season, guys, go back to the first 6 games. If we could change 2 or 3 of those games, the Broncos will be in first place. Plain and simple. We beat the Raiders out of the gate, and we beat the Commanders. Now we're 9-4. Now we're 9-4. Not 7-6. We're 9-4. Guess what? We'd be in first place by just those 2 games. That's what I'm talking about. It's not all Russell Wilson. It's not all defense and special teams. It was everybody in the first 6 games. It was ugly. I was thinking, oh my gosh, is Sean Payton going to be worse than Nathaniel Hackett? I really was thinking that. I mean, can you blame me? We were 1-5. Can you blame me? No, you can't, because you're probably thinking the same thing. But now we're 7-6. And we're changing things around. Why? Because it takes time to build the chemistry, to build the trust, to build the camaraderie, to build the game plan, to execute the game plan, to do what they had to do, mindset, physicality, whatever it is, to get themselves mentally ready to play and win the game. One day at a time, one game at a time. And that's what Sean Payton is doing with this Broncos team. They've got him to that point of believing that no matter what, they can win the game. They proved that against the Vikings when they trailed. They proved that against the Browns when they trailed. And then they didn't have to trail against the Chargers because they just went out there and kicked some, keister. So, yeah, I mean, I just feel that this game or this remaining 4 games is going to determine whether or not the Denver Broncos are going to move on in the playoffs or if they're going to go home. Plain and simple. And it all starts with Detroit this coming Saturday. All right. Wow, Jack. Okay, Jack. All right. I'm going to give it to you. Jack says, I absolutely 100% want the Raiders to be better. They fired their head coach and rookie offensive coordinator, rookie head coach, rookie offensive coordinator, rookie quarterback. I chatted with DT's sister a couple of times, then moved back to California. I respect all chat. I do too. I respect all Jack. Okay, let me ask you, why do you want the Raiders to be better? Is it because it makes the division better, makes the AFC West better, AFC conference better? Why do you want the Raiders to be better? Just curious. Just wondering how you feel about that. Like I said, I'd rather have the Broncos just be up on top and not. But then again, it's competitive. It's competition. It makes the league better. I understand that. So yeah, I do understand that, Jack, and I do appreciate your comment very, very much. Let's see. Big E said Denver has to get a number 2 wide receiver in this year's draft class. Number 2 wide receiver. So are you kicking Jerry Jeudy out? Tim Patrick not coming back? I don't know. KJ Hamler, he's not coming back. See, those are 3 guys right there. You got KJ Hamler, you got Tim Patrick, and you have Jerry Jeudy. Are you saying you want to get rid of all 3 of them? Or are you going to keep 2 of them? What about the ones that are injured? Are they going to be 100% when they come back? See, all those are questions that are not going to really be answered until next year's offseason. And yeah, okay, we do need a number 2 wide receiver. I agree with that. But who do you sacrifice? And, you get rid of Jerry Jeudy, like I mentioned, or the other guys, Patrick and Hammer. I mean, that's just something we got to think about. You only got 53 guys on the active roster, and you got to have the 53 best guys. That's for dang sure. Okay, Kamani says the bright side is that the Broncos caught on fire at the right time. I agree. They caught on fire at the right time. Let's just hope that they can sustain that moving forward, because Detroit's not going to be easy. Yes, Detroit lost to the Bears yesterday. That's for sure. They lost to the Bears, but Detroit at home is tough to beat. Tough to beat. Yes, they've been beaten at home, but it's tough to beat. It's a dome. It's going to be loud. It's going to be raucous, and the Broncos understand that. And I just hope that they continue this, because if they can beat Detroit, they have a pretty much, I don't want to say cakewalk, because nothing in the NFL is a cakewalk. Nothing. I mean, obviously, go back and look at New England beating Pittsburgh the other day, or the Jets beating Houston yesterday on a blowout. Who would have thought that? Seriously, who would have thought that? Or the Cleveland Browns with Joe Flacco wins. I mean, they're just, you never know who's going to win on any given Sunday. So you can't sit there and say, well, it's a cakewalk, because it's not. If we beat Detroit, then that's great, but it doesn't get any easier. Well, we play the Patriots. That's not going to be easy. Like I mentioned, they have nothing to lose. They're going to come out there and do whatever they have to be the spoilers. And then we got the Chargers. You don't think the Chargers want revenge? You don't think the Chargers want revenge from what we did to them yesterday, 24-7 in SoFi, in another Broncos home game? Because it was loud with Bronco fans, that's for sure. You don't think they want revenge? How about the Raiders? What if it comes down to where the Broncos have to beat the Raiders the last game of the season to go to the playoffs? You don't think the Raiders are going to want to play spoilers? Come on, guys. Come on. It's not going to be easy. It's not a cakewalk. It's not a cakewalk. But you're right. You're right, Kamani. We did catch fire at the right time. Let's just continue to flame or fan the flames. Continue with this hot streak that we're on, winning 6 out of the last 7. Yeah, 6 out of the last 7. And then we got 4 more to go. And we do that, guys. We do that. Then we end up 11-6. Amazing, amazing turnaround if that's the case. Oh my gosh. I'm excited. I am absolutely excited for these last 4 games. I really am. Now, you would have asked me that in the first 5 games of the season, I was I'm not too excited about having Sean Payton, that's for sure. Oh, yes, I am. Oh, I'm excited. Yesterday's game was so much fun. So much fun to watch, so much fun to do on the neighborhood. It was exciting. It was absolutely exciting. Let's see. Okay, so Kamani says, out of all the games we lost, the Texans game hurt me the most because we had that game. Yes, we did have that game, but in the same sentence, Kamani, we didn't have that game. We had it, but we didn't. And the reason why I said we had it, but we didn't is because of turnovers, because of penalties. You know, you take away that touchdown on that Singleton not roughing the passer, but unsportsmanlike conduct. Instead of getting a touchdown there and they get a field goal and they only lead, what was it? The final score was 22-17. So you take away 4 points. It would have been 18-17. Denver doesn't need a touchdown at the end with 20 seconds. They could have kicked a field goal and we would have won the game 20-18. So I understand what you're saying. Yes, that game hurt badly, but I can't really say that we had that game. We had it at the end. Okay, but let me put it there. We had a chance at the end. It didn't materialize, but we actually absolutely, in my opinion, and agree with you, we had the game in essence that if Singleton doesn't get baited by a rookie quarterback, CJ Stroud, and commit that penalty, Denver would have a chance and probably most likely would have won the game. That didn't happen. The 3 turnovers hurt us badly, put them into short field position. There's a lot of things. There's penalties in there. There was, clock management. There was that game we had, but we didn't have. And I have to throw that game out because it was just one of those ones where it was ugly. And you just got to throw it out and say, okay, fine, let's move on. Let's get past it. And that's what they did yesterday. They got past that game and they ended up beating the Chargers 24-7, got right back on track. So, yeah, in my opinion, that was a winnable game. We just didn't do the right things to get it done. We made too many errors. Let's see. Jack, I don't remember that. Jack says, I'm here for good chat, just like Richie, supporting. Good chat. Thanks, man. He says, remember when the trade for Elway for Howie Long and a second round pick was blocked by the NFL commissioner? I don't remember that. I'm sorry, I don't remember that. John Elway, Howie Long was blocked by the NFL. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that. You know what? I don't remember that. No, but that's it wouldn't surprise me. The NFL controls a lot of things behind the scenes, guys, that we don't really know about. I mean, if you think about it, they really do control some things that you kind of shake your head and go, I wonder why that didn't go through, or wonder why that got through, or whatever, Kamani. Look what Mike started yesterday. You know that? Kamani says, I'll say it. Kamani says, I love to see a Chargers fan help us celebrate our Broncos. Thanks, Bill. Yeah, unfortunately, my sister's not here helping us celebrate, so I'm not quite sure where that came from, Kamani. I know that you can't be talking about me. I know you can't because I'm not a Charger fan. But anyway, I give you love on that. I threw it out there and posted up there because, hey, that's what I do. I mean, you guys are going to be kind enough to be in the chat on your, busy Monday family time or whatever. And, I'm going to accommodate. That's what I do. I bring in the chat, and that's what makes this whole show that much more fun. Kamani says, we moved the ball to the 8-yard line. It's against Houston. And Wilson gave the game back to the Texans. Yes, he did, because he threw it into double coverage to Kroll on third down. He should have thrown the ball away, and the Broncos would have had fourth down, and they could have, gathered up a better play or whatever. But earlier on second down, I believe it was first or second down, he had Jerry Jeudy was wide open at the 3-yard line. He could have walked in the end zone, and Russell Wilson never saw him. So, yeah, that Texans game, we should have had that game. I totally agree. But then again, we never really had the lead in there. We were always playing catch up, and it was just one of those things where, it was a game that we let it get away from us. We absolutely let it get away from us, and we gave the Texans that game. We absolutely gave the Texans that game, and there's no other two ways about it. But moving on, the Broncos did beat the Chargers 24-7, and now our focus is towards Detroit. I will get into that on my Friday show. I will be in a different location. I will be at my brother-in-law's house. I'm watching their chickens, their dogs, their cat, and their fish. While they go and bring back their daughter from Monterey College up the California coast, about 8 to 10 hours north of me. So I will be watching their house, and then you'll see a different background when I'm over there. But I'll still be doing the show. So anyway, just giving you guys a heads up. Let's see. Jack says, at the host, do you watch your boy Richie Rich on the Wild Wild Show, all AFC West teams? It's how I found your show. Yes, I do, Jack. Thank you so much. I do. It's a great show. It's a show where it features a fan from every AFC West team: Broncos, Raiders, Chargers, and Chiefs. It goes live every Wednesday. It's a great show. Guys, don't miss it. Richie Rich is the host. He's the Bronco fan. You got Captain Jack, and you got the other guys. You got the Raider. I can't remember what his is right now, and you got Chief fan. So it's a really good show. They go back and forth. They banter back and forth. It's really good. Thanks again, Jack. Really appreciate you jumping on over to the Elevation Orange, and I do my Broncos breakdown on Friday, and we do the Broncos neighborhood on game day. So I really do appreciate you jumping on. Thanks so much, man. Really do appreciate it. Kamani says, Bill, don't cook none of the I can't. And that's one of the things, and that my niece, she wanted to raise chickens years and years ago. He's been raising them for, oh, good gosh, got to be at least a good 10 years. My niece is 25. Yeah, she's about 15 when she got her first chickens, or little chicks, little chicks. Raised them in an incubator with the heat lamp and all that kind of stuff. And she told her dad said, when they get old enough, we're going to have some really good fresh chickens. And she told him, she says, Dad, if you kill these chickens and we have them for dinner, I will never speak to you again, and I will move out. And she was like 15. I'm like, holy smokes, man. You know what? And he promised her, he said, I never, ever will. You know what? He's buried every single one of those chickens in his backyard. So I do have to commend him for that. But no, I will not be eating the chicken. The eggs are amazing, though. The eggs are really, they got a bigger yolk than like the eggs that you get in the store. And they're different colors. You'll get like green shells. You'll get speckled shells. You'll get brown eggs. And the yolks are just so much richer. And it's amazing. And they're free range. They're free range chickens. In fact, when I'm there, I let them out of their coop and they go running around the yard. He's got a big fence that's fenced in with these chickens, and it's pretty cool. It's really cool. I enjoy it. Go out there, talk to the chickens, what, all that kind of stuff, and they talk back to me, and I feed them lettuce, and I go in there and take care of them. It's really nice, really good. I appreciate it. So yeah, no, I am not going to be eating any of those chickens at all. Okay. Jack says, agreed. It's a fantastic show talking about the Wild Wild West, because I've been on live with Richie Rich before. That's awesome, Jack. Glad. I'm really glad, man. Yeah, it's a fun show. It's really fun, and Richie Rich does a really good job on there. So, guys, like I said, check out all the shows that we have, and just enjoy. Pick out which ones you like. Continue to support, and hit the thumbs up, and we greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, I'm over an hour now. It's an hour and 8 minutes, almost an hour and 9. I'm going to cut out of here. You guys have a fantastic rest of your Monday evening. That's it, guys. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. If you have not, please do so. Hit the thumbs up button. That does a tremendous job for showing support for this show, the network, all the shows. Guys, thank you so much for being in the chat. You guys are wonderful, as always. It was a fantastic show. You had great bantering back and forth and talking different topics, stuff. Always appreciated. Let me go down the list real quick. We got Big E. We got Just Keep Punching. Let's see. We got Avatars that was in the house. We have Jack Kenna. Appreciate Jack being in here. Let's see who else we got. Keep on going down so I don't miss anybody. Glenn Hauser. Kamani Dixon, of course. Let's see, anybody else? I don't want to miss a single person. Let's see. So far, everybody I've already mentioned. Guys, Willie Snyder, thanks so much for being in the chat. Really appreciate it. Everybody's comments and takes and support is really, really appreciated. You guys, I'll tell you what, like I've mentioned many, many times, and I'll keep saying it as long as I'm doing these shows. You guys, every single one of you out there, whether you're in the chat or you're not, and you're watching this show live or after it's been posted, thanks each and every one of you guys for your support and for being a subscriber of the channel and for the thumbs up and all your comments. You guys are definitely the backbone of this show and the entire network. Guys, could not have a better show if you guys were not here. Thanks so much again. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday night. Enjoy the rest of the week, and I will see you this coming Friday on Broncos Breakdown live at 5 p.m. Till then, guys, take care. Bye-bye.
Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Simcoe's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast racking up the flight miles. So high, I might never come down, so